In modal logic, the satisfaction relation is typically defined as a relation between a possible world and a formula, capturing properties of the world. However, Arthur Pryor's concept of egocentric logical systems shifts the focus from worlds to agents, emphasizing properties of agents rather than worlds. This paper extends this concept by introducing two distinct modalities in an egocentric setting: de re and de dicto knowledge. De re knowledge refers to knowledge about specific objects or individuals, whereas de dicto knowledge pertains to knowledge about propositions or statements. The authors formalize these modalities using two distinct satisfaction relations, capturing the nuances of agent-centric knowledge representation. The de re modality is defined as a relation between an agent and a formula, where the agent has knowledge about a specific object or individual. In contrast, the de dicto modality is defined as a relation between an agent and a proposition, where the agent has knowledge about the truth of the proposition. The authors then prove that these two modalities are not reducible to each other, demonstrating that de re and de dicto knowledge are distinct and cannot be captured by a single modality. This result provides a new perspective on how we understand and represent knowledge in logical systems, highlighting the importance of agent-centric approaches in modal logic. The findings have implications for various applications, including artificial intelligence, natural language processing, and formal epistemology. In epistemic logic, researchers have proposed various modalities to express properties of agents in a given world. The each friend modality F, introduced by Seligman, Liu, and Girard, enables statements such as all friends of agent are logicians. A F is a logician. This modality can be nested, allowing for expressions like all friends of agent A's friends are logicians. A FF is a logician. The nesting of F enables the representation of complex social relationships and properties. John and Naumov's likes modality L, on the other hand, allows for the expression of an agent's preferences. For instance, agent A likes agent B can be represented as a LB. This modality can be used to model various social phenomena, such as influence and recommendation systems. The combination of these modalities enables the representation of complex social structures and relationships. For example, all friends of agent A who like agent B are logicians can be expressed as a F, LB and is a logician. This expression demonstrates the power of combining modalities to capture nuanced social properties. The use of these modalities has significant implications for the study of social networks and multi-agent systems. By formally representing complex social relationships and properties, researchers can develop more accurate models of social behavior and decision-making. However, the expressiveness of these modalities also raises challenges for model checking and satisfiability testing. Future work should focus on developing efficient algorithms for reasoning about these complex social structures. In the context of epistemic logic, the authors introduce the concept of extension of a name, denoted by EU, N, which refers to the agent to which name N refers in a given world W. For instance, in world W, the name Leah refers to the second girl with fringe, and EU, Leah, is that particular girl. The authors use symbols for all there is above an agent in a world to indicate that the agent is a logician in that world, as depicted in Figure 1. The authors then consider world U, where the name Leah refers to a different girl than in world W. Despite this difference, the girl referred to by Leah in world U is also a logician. The name Maya refers to the same girl in both worlds, who cannot distinguish between worlds W and U. However, since Leah is a logician in both indistinguishable worlds, the agent EU, Maya, knows that Leah is a logician, as expressed in equations 1 and 2. The authors also highlight that there are other logicians in worlds W and U, such as Anne and Zoe, respectively. The agent EU, Maya, knows that the girl with a long braid is a logician in both worlds, as captured by equations 3 and 4. The authors differentiate between the knowledge captured in equations 3 and 4, which is about a specific agent with different names, and the knowledge captured in equations 1 and 2, which is about the name Leah, referring to different agents. This distinction is known as the de re, de dicto distinction, a fundamental concept in epistemic logic. In this research paper, we differentiate between two forms of knowledge, de re and de dicto, using distinct modalities Rn and Dn. The de re modality represents an agent's knowledge about a specific entity, while the de dicto modality represents an agent's knowledge about a name or description. For instance, in our example, we represent the statement, Maya knows that the girl with 2 braids is a logician, as T, et, Maya, ran, is a logician, and V, ev, Maya, R Zoe, is a logician. We also examine the interplay between these two modalities, focusing on their mutual definability. We prove that modalities Rn and Dn are not interdefinable, meaning they cannot be expressed in terms of each other. This contributes to a deeper understanding of the relationship between these two types of knowledge. Furthermore, we consider an extension of the basic logic with the de re and de dicto modalities, providing a complete axiomatization for all universal properties in the language containing both modalities. This work aims to provide a formal semantics for de re and de dicto knowledge modalities, shedding light on the complex interactions between them and paving the way for future studies in this area. Epistemic models with extensions provide a formal semantics for de re and de dicto knowledge modalities. These models are defined as a tuple consisting of a set of worlds W, a set of agents A, an indistinguishability equivalence relation tilde operator A on W for each agent A in A, an extension function EU for each world W in W, and a function pi mapping each propositional variable P to a subset of W times A. In essence, this framework captures situations where agents may not know their own names, such as an adopted child. The extension function assigns a name to each agent in each world, mirroring the philosophical concept of extension as the set of objects denoted by a given name. This concept is illustrated through an example involving 4 girls, each with a unique hairstyle, depicted in Figure 1. The indistinguishability equivalence relation tilde operator A represents the agent's epistemic limitations, allowing them to distinguish between worlds based on their own knowledge. The extension function EU, on the other hand, provides a formal way to assign names to agents in each world, effectively bridging the gap between the agent's knowledge and the actual state of the world. The function pi maps each propositional variable P to a subset of W times A, enabling the evaluation of propositional formulas in the context of epistemic models with extensions. This provides a foundation for reasoning about knowledge and belief in multi-agent systems. The author's framework offers a nuanced approach to modeling epistemic scenarios, allowing for a more comprehensive understanding of knowledge and its limitations. By formally capturing the relationships between agents, worlds, and names, epistemic models with extensions provide a powerful tool for analyzing complex epistemic situations. In multi-agent epistemic logic, we explore the properties of the extension function and introduce an auxiliary modality, at north, to bridge de re and de dicto knowledge modalities. Each name is assumed to denote a single agent, although the framework can be generalized to accommodate situations where the same name denotes multiple agents, necessitating the further split of modalities R and D into knows about all and knows about some. The extension of a name depends on the world, as defined in definition 1, and can be extended to incorporate an agent-dependent extension function, enabling the modeling of names such as my mother, which will be further explored in section 7. Propositional variables are reinterpreted as statements about both the world and the agent, allowing pi, P, to be a subset of W times A. For instance, a variable can represent is a logician, with a value set consisting of pairs of world and agent, W, A, such that the agent is indeed a logician in world W. The auxiliary modality at n is introduced, where a formula phi, interpreted in at n phi, denotes the statement that phi holds about the agent named n in the current world. Specifically, at n phi means W, EU, n, phi, where the agent in A plays no part in verifying phi, regardless of agent A's state in W. The property at n is demonstrated through the example of is a logician, where agent EU, Zoe, correctly understands this at Leah form at U, as Zoe shares information regarding Leah with Alice at state version 3. This is illustrated by the final inference equation, where Zoe may check the correctness fact since Z uses these pred. In the realm of epistemic logic, The distinction between de re and de dicto knowledge is crucial, as it pertains to an agent's ability to differentiate between worlds. To formalize this distinction, a language phi is introduced, comprising three modalities: Rn for de re knowledge, Dn for de dicto knowledge, and N for truth about an agent. The syntax and semantics of phi are rigorously defined, featuring the satisfaction relation W, a phi that determines whether a formula phi is true in a world W for an agent A. In a given example, agent EU, Maya, is incapable of distinguishing between worlds W and U. However, in world U, agent EU, Maya, possesses de re knowledge that agent EU, Zoe, is a logician. This exemplifies the equivalence of formulas Dn phi and Rn phi, which will be formally proven in Theorem 1. The language phi is constructed through a grammar that incorporates propositional variables, negation, disjunction, and the three aforementioned modalities. Other Boolean connectives are assumed to be defined using negation and disjunction. The satisfaction relation W, a phi, is exhaustively defined for each modality, capturing the truth conditions for formulas in phi. This includes capturing de re knowledge about an agent, de dicto knowledge about a name, and truth about an agent. In the realm of epistemic logic, two key definitions are introduced: the truth set of a formula phi in an epistemic model with extensions, and semantic equivalence between two formulae phi and psi. The truth set J phi k of a formula phi consists of pairs, W, A, where W is a world and A is an agent, such that W, A satisfies phi. Two formulae phi and psi are considered semantically equivalent if they have the same truth set in every epistemic model with extensions. The de re, de dicto distinction, a concept well known in the logic literature, is clarified to refer to the difference between knowledge about an object and knowledge about a name. This distinction cannot be reduced to a change in the order of quantifiers, as some authors have suggested. The author's approach is compared to that of Wang, Wei, and Seligman, who propose a logical system capable of capturing de re and de dicto forms of knowledge. The main difference lies in the semantics and language used. Wang et al. Employed traditional, non-egocentric semantics and extend the language with agent variables and a special, update, modality. In contrast, the authors utilize egocentric semantics, enabling them to define de re and de dicto knowledge as primitive modalities without adding variables to the language. The authors illustrate the difference between their approach and Wang et al.'s by translating their de re and de dicto knowledge statements into Wang et al.'s notation. Their de re knowledge statement is translated as U, X, equals, Maya, K Zoe, is a logician, X, and their de dicto knowledge statement is translated as U K Leah, is a logician, Maya. The use of egocentric semantics and primitive modalities in the author's approach opens up opportunities for further development. The paper's equations, algorithms, and mathematical concepts are used to formalize the definitions and distinctions made, ensuring precision and clarity. The discussion of related work and comparison with Wang et al.'s approach provide context and highlight the novelty of the author's approach. The authors delve into a technical analysis of the definability of modalities R, D, and at through each other, commencing with the definability of D through R and at. Theorem 1 posits that for any formula phi in phi, names N and M in N, world W in W, and agent A in A of an epistemic model with extensions, W, A Dn phi if and only if W, A. The proof of this theorem is provided, demonstrating that the implication from left to right, rightwards double arrow, holds by considering any world U such that W tilde operator AU. It suffices to show that U, EU, M, at N phi, which follows from the assumption W, A Dn phi by item 6 of definition 2. Conversely, the implication from right to left, leftwards double arrow, holds by considering any world U such that W tilde operator AU. It suffices to show that U, EU, N, at N phi, which follows from the assumption W, A by item 5 of definition 2 and the assumption W tilde operator AU. Therefore, U, EU, N, phi by item 4 of definition 2. This result contributes to the study of the definability and undefinability of de re and de dicto notions through each other, and potentially has applications in expressing other concepts about non-rigid names. The undefinability of modality D through modality R is established using the truth set algebra technique. This proof is demonstrated within a language phi, featuring a single propositional variable p and a single name an, and is based on an epistemic model comprising 4 possible worlds and 2 agents. The model is constructed such that each agent is unable to distinguish between specific worlds, and the name an refers to different agents in different worlds. The truth set J phi k of an arbitrary formula phi is visually represented using 4 times 2 diagrams, where rows correspond to possible worlds and columns to agents. These diagrams illustrate the truth sets of various formulas, including JPK, J_k, J0pk, and JK. A key lemma states that for any formula phi, if J phi k is one of these 4 truth sets, then Jr phi k is also one of these 4 truth sets. The proof of this lemma involves considering 4 cases, each corresponding to one of the 4 possible truth sets J phi k. For instance, in case I, where J phi k equals JPK, it is shown that Jr phi k equals J_k. This is proven by examining any possible world S and agent X, and demonstrating that S, X, not an element Jr phi k. The proof relies on the properties of the truth set JPK, which exhibits the characteristic that for any column C, there exist rows R1 and R2 such that cells R1, C, and R2, C, are white. The truth set algebra technique enables a more streamlined proof, as it only requires consideration of a single model, contrasting with the traditional bisimulation method which necessitates 2 models. This technique is also employed in the subsequent subsection to prove the undefinability of modality R through D and AT. The undefinability result has significant implications for the expressiveness of modal logic, highlighting the limitations of modality R in defining modality D. The proof of Theorem 3 delves into the relationship between the epistemic model and the modalities of knowledge and belief, dividing it into 4 distinct cases based on the set J phi k. Case I assumes J phi k equals JPK, demonstrating that if this holds true, then Jr phi k equals J_k. This is achieved through a series of logical steps, leveraging the definitions of the epistemic model and the modalities. It is shown that if W tilde operator O and V tilde operator xt, there exists I element of 1, 2, such that S tilde operator xri, and re, S, an, does not force phi. Consequently, S, x does not force ran phi, and thus, S, x, not an element Jr phi k. Case 2 mirrors case I, assuming J phi k equals J0pk. In case 3, J phi k equals J_k is assumed, with the proof illustrating that Jr phi k equals J_k. This is demonstrated by considering any world S element of W, U, V, T, and any agent X element of A, B, and showing that S, X, not an element Jr phi k. Lastly, in case IV, J phi k equals Jk is assumed, and the proof demonstrates that Jr phi k equals Jk. This is achieved by showing that S, X phi for any world S element of W, U, V, T, and any agent X element of A, B, and therefore S, X ran phi. This leads to the conclusion that Jr phi k equals Jk. The proof of lemma 2 is also presented, stating that J phi k element of JPK, J_k, J0pk, Jk, for any formula phi element of phi that does not utilize modalities D and AT. The proof is by induction on the structural complexity of formula phi, and it is shown that the statement of the lemma is true for propositional variable pages. Key concepts and definitions used in this proof include the epistemic model, the modalities of knowledge and belief, and the definitions of the sets J phi k and Jr phi k. The proof heavily relies on logical reasoning and the application of these definitions to demonstrate the desired results. Figure 2 is used to visualize the relationships between the different sets and modalities. The significance of this proof lies in its contribution to understanding the relationship between the epistemic model and the modalities of knowledge and belief. The results presented in this proof provide a deeper understanding of how these modalities interact and how they can be used to reason about knowledge and belief in multi-agent systems. Assuming a formula phi of the form not psi, the set J not psi k is the complement of the truth set J psi k, as per definitions 2 and 3. Notably, the complement of each set in the family, JPK, J up tak k, J not pk, Jk, also belongs to this family. By the induction hypothesis, J psi k is a member of this family, implying J phi k equals J not psi k is also a member. If phi has the form psi 1 or psi 2, then J psi 1 or psi 2 k is the union of J psi 1 k and J psi 2 k, as per definitions 2 and 3. The union of any two sets in the family, JPK, J up tak k, J not pk, Jk, also belongs to this family. By the induction hypothesis, J psi 1k and J psi 2k are members of this family, and therefore, J phi k equals J psi 1 or psi 2k is also a member. If phi has the form rand psi, the statement of the lemma follows from the induction hypothesis by lemma 1. Now, consider JDANNPK, which does not belong to the family, JPK, J up tak k, J not pk, Jk. The proof involves demonstrating that the truth set JDANNPK is depicted in the rightmost diagram of Figure 2. Specifically, in the model, W, AP and U, BP by the choice of function pi and item 1 of definition 2. This implies W, EU, AN, P and U, EU, AN, P by the definition of the extension function. Agents A and B cannot distinguish worlds W and U, but can distinguish these worlds from worlds V and T. Hence, by item 6 of definition 2, S, XDANNP for each S element of W, U, and each X element of A, B. In contrast, V, A does not force P, implying V, EV, AN, does not force P, and S, X does not force DANNP for each S element of V, T, and each X element of A, B. This collectively implies that the set JDANNPK is depicted in the rightmost diagram of Figure 2. Theorem 2 follows from the preceding lemmas, stating that formula DANNP is not semantically equivalent to any formula in language phi that does not use modalities D and AT. This notion of undefinability refers to the ability to express a property that is not expressible otherwise. The non-uniform definability of a modality is explored, where a modality's expression is not bound to a fixed syntactical combination of other connectives. Specifically, the authors demonstrate that de Rey knowledge modality R cannot be defined through de Dicto knowledge modality D, even with the aid of modality AT. This is proven using truth set algebra methods and a novel epistemic model comprising two worlds and two agents, where one agent lacks the ability to distinguish between the worlds, whereas the other can. The authors provide supporting lemmas, building upon previous sections' definitions and figures, to substantiate their claims about R's undefinability via D and AT. In this two-world, two-agent model, the agent incapable of distinguishing between worlds exemplifies the limitations of de Dicto knowledge, whereas the other agent's ability to discern between worlds highlights the distinctiveness of de Rey knowledge. The author's proof leverages this epistemic model to establish the non-uniform definability of R, underscoring the significance of considering multiple agents with varying epistemic capabilities. The presented lemmas provide a rigorous foundation for the author's claims, formally demonstrating the impossibility of defining R using D and AT. These results have important implications for the study of modal logics, emphasizing the need to move beyond fixed syntactical combinations of connectives when exploring the definability of complex modalities. In the context of agent-specific names, modality D is proven to be undefinable in terms of modalities R and AT. This proof is facilitated by the extension function, which establishes a relationship between worlds and agents in the model. The distinction between worlds W and U by agent B, as stated in item 5 of definition 2, is crucial for this proof. This distinction is formalized in equations 15 and 16, illustrating the set JRANNPK in the rightmost diagram of Figure 3. Theorem 3, derived from the preceding lemmas, asserts that the formula RANNP is not semantically equivalent to any formula in language phi that does not use modalities R. This theorem has significant implications for the expressiveness of the language phi and the limitations of modalities R and in capturing certain aspects of agent-specific names. The concept of agent-specific names introduces names like ma for mother that depend on both the world and the agent. To incorporate these names into the system, the extension functions can be modified to depend on both the world and the agent. This modification requires adjustments to definition 2, particularly item 4, which would now be formulated as W, A at N phi IFFW, A at W, N, phi. The introduction of agent-specific names expands the model's scope, allowing for a more nuanced representation of agent-specific information. However, this expansion also raises questions about the model's limitations and assumptions, particularly regarding the definability of certain modalities. Future work may involve exploring the implications of agent-specific names on the expressiveness of the language phi and the relationships between modalities R, ed, and D. In the setting with agent-specific names, the statement, W, A at ma, is a logician, asserts that the mother of agent A is a logician in world W, whereas W, A, is a logician, signifies that the grandmother of agent A is a logician in world W. Notably, while Theorem 1 no longer holds, Theorem 2 and Theorem 3 remain valid. A key finding is that modality D is undefinable through modalities R and ed in this context. To demonstrate this, an epistemic model with extensions is constructed, comprising 4 worlds and 3 agents, where each agent cannot distinguish specific worlds. The extension of the name BF, short for best friend, is defined differently for each agent in each world, as illustrated in the leftmost diagram of Figure 4. The family of truth sets F is then defined, encompassing sets like J R B F phi K, and 3 lemmas are established. Lemma 7 asserts that J R B F phi K is in F for any phi in phi such that J phi K element of F. Lemma 8 posits that J phi K element of F for any phi in phi that does not employ modality D. Conversely, Lemma 9 shows that J D B F P K is not in F. The proofs of lemmas 7 and 8 follow a similar structure to those of lemmas 1 and 2, but with key differences. Lemma 7 utilizes Figure 4, whereas Lemma 8 relies on Lemma 7. Theorem 4 follows from lemmas 8 and 9, concluding that formula DBFP is not semantically equivalent to any formula in language phi that does not utilize modality D. However, by extending language phi with a name constant, say, self, and assuming that A at W, say, equals A for each agent A in each world W, modality D becomes definable, as Dn phi is defined as at na R phi. This paper concludes by emphasizing the key finding that de re and de dicto knowledge cannot be defined in terms of each other within an egocentric setting. This result has significant implications for the development of formal systems aimed at capturing the interplay between these two notions. The authors intend to expand upon this result by creating a sound and complete logical system that formalizes the relationship between de re and de dicto knowledge. The paper's conclusion is supported by a thorough examination of existing literature on the topic, including works by Artemov and Yavorskaya on binding modalities, Chisholm on the distinction between de dicto and de re knowledge, and Cohen et al. On de re updates. The authors also draw on research by Epstein and Naumov on epistemic logic of know-who, fitting on de re, de dicto, and binding modalities, and Goranko and Zhu on conditional local strategic reasoning. The paper's findings are grounded in a comprehensive understanding of the subject matter, ensuring that the proposed logical system will be well equipped to address the complexities inherent in the relationship between de re and de dicto knowledge. Epistemic logic and term modal logic converge in their treatment of names, which play a crucial role in these systems. A fundamental distinction in this context is between de re and de dicto attitudes, a dichotomy central to philosophical debates about reference and modality. De re attitudes concern properties and relations that hold of individuals, whereas de dicto attitudes pertain to sentences or propositions, highlighting the difference between referring to an object versus referring to a description of that object. The relationship between naming and necessity is also explored, as names are often seen as rigid designators, picking out the same individual across possible worlds. This is linked to the egocentric nature of propositional attitudes, where an agent's beliefs and knowledge are centered on their own perspective. The authors investigate how these concepts interact in epistemic and term-modal logics, examining the implications for our understanding of reference, modality, and agency. To formalize these ideas, the authors employ a novel combination of epistemic and term-modal operators, allowing for the expression of complex attitudes towards objects and their properties. This framework enables a nuanced exploration of the interplay between naming, necessity, and egocentricity, shedding light on the underlying structures of epistemic and term-modal logics. The study's findings have significant implications for fields such as philosophical logic, linguistics, and cognitive science, offering a deeper understanding of the intricate relationships between language, meaning, and reality.